What's good, guys? Fantasy Joe back here with our fantasy football profile. Today I am talking Michael Pittman Jr. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. I really appreciate that. It helps out the algorithm a ton. And you're going to make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have a ton of redraft content, a ton of these fantasy profiles, mock drafts, league winners, all that good stuff to help you dominate your friends and family. Let's talk Michael Pittman. So in 2021, Michael Pittman finished as a wide receiver 15, averaging 11.5 points per game and a half-point PPR. He had 129 targets, which he turned into 88 receptions, 1,082 yards, and 6 receiving touchdowns. Keep in mind that's all with Carson Wentz at quarterback. Obviously, Wentz had a solid statistical output season last year, but obviously if you watched him, you knew he wasn't the best quarterback and they didn't trust him a whole lot. I think this will be a run-first team, but I do think they'll throw a little bit more with Matt Ryan, which I think opens up some more upside for Michael Pittman Jr. I also think Matt Ryan is just an upgrade in general. If we want to look at some stats, especially for the number one wide receiver, in 2021, Ridley had the 6th highest target per route run and was second among wide receivers in expected fantasy points per game, and that was with Matt Ryan. He targets his number one wide receiver heavily. We've seen him do that with Julio Jones. Now he comes to a new situation with Michael Pittman, who's a very talented wide receiver and will likely get the vast majority of the targets. If we look at anything, there's really not much target competition here. It's Alec Pierce, Paris Campbell, Zach Pascal, guys like that. I don't even know if Pascal's on the team for sure this year, but he was the highest last year. Michael Pittman Jr. had a 24% target share. I think that could even go up a little bit with Matt Ryan as well. He did a 31% target share from weeks 13 to 18. That's another thing to keep in mind. And again, this was all with Carson Wentz, and I think he'll get some more deep targets with Matt Ryan. I don't know if he'll necessarily hit the deep targets, but I do think he'll get more targets down the field now that they trust the quarterback a little bit more. The one thing I'll say about Matt Ryan, Michael Pittman going to Matt Ryan, don't count the touchdowns being there. Matt Ryan has never historically thrown a lot of touchdowns to his number one wide receiver. If we look at Kyle Pitts last year, he had 0. If we look at Ridley in the year before, when he was the number one, he didn't catch many touchdowns, but when Julio was, he was catching a lot of touchdowns. When Julio was the number one wide receiver, he wasn't catching many touchdowns. It's just history has repeated itself year over year, so I'm not going to count on that. His 2022 stat prediction, though, I've been projected for 95 plus receptions, 1,200 plus yards, and 6 plus receiving touchdowns. And he could easily be a wide receiver 1 this year. I think he could hit, 1,300 mark, the 1,300 yard mark if things go his way. If you guys have made it to this point in the video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. I'll respond as always. Thank you guys for watching.